It's early on. We're a bit rusty. We're a bit scratchy tonight. Dogs are really good around the clearances. In particular, they won the stoppages and first possession from those congested plays really well. You know, that's a great strength of theirs. It's been a big focus of Macca as coach since he's been at the Dogs. And we knew going into the game that was going to be an area of the game that we needed to be really good at, and we weren't tonight. So full credit to the Dogs. We need to get better. Fortunate for us, we've still got 3 or 4 weeks to get ourselves right prior to round one.
Are you about where you thought you would be, or perhaps listening to what you're saying, maybe a little bit behind what you thought you might be?
No, it's just we're 2 weeks into a NAB campaign. It's not about wins or losses. It's about game time, and you know, trying to get some of your structures and processes right. And we were just really poor around the footy tonight, and gave the Dogs too much easy supply from that area of the ground, and it just made it really difficult when the predominantly you're losing stoppages like that. The game is getting played in their end more so than it is ours, and you know, we had a forward line that was pretty dangerous when we could get it in there quickly, but we just couldn't win enough ball from those stoppage situations to get it inside our 50 quickly enough to really hurt the opposition. And you know, you get what you deserve in this game, and we didn't deserve to win tonight.
What about those final minutes? I mean, you had a chance, a shot late in the game, and gave it all up pretty easily a couple of times. I mean, that sort of thing, do you look to that much, or not worried about it?
No, not much. Rusty. We'll get a bit better, but we're going to need to too. So we'll you know, keep getting some game time into our players, and yeah, we've got a bit of work to do prior to round one.
Buddy looked pretty switched on.
Yeah, he did some good things when we could get the ball quickly enough to him, but yeah, unfortunately, the ball went in their direction for a start before we could then rebound it and get it back to our forward. So that was far too often throughout the course of the game, and you're usually playing catch up when you have the game played in that sort of manner.
How are the 2 boys that were subbed off, Hale and Bruce?
Yeah, I think they've just got. I haven't spoken to the Docs or the 2 boys as yet, but I think they've just got knocks. We just took them off as precautions. We'll see how they play. I don't think either are serious, but we might give them a rest next week. Don't know. We'll just wait and see. It's all about just trying to manage all your players in game time this time of the year, and whenever there's any sort of knock or anything like that, you just usually take them out of the game and as a precaution. Whereas home and away, they'd probably keep going.
How do you reckon the interchange cap went tonight? How do you go sort of managing and how the players go with it?
I haven't spoken with the players as yet, but listen, it's a difficult one because you're just finding so much of your planning, and you're not coaching. All you're doing is counting the numbers of how many times players are coming off the ground, and so you take it back to the old reserves and just play 18 men on the ground if that's what you really want to do. But it makes it pretty difficult, and it's a pretty dramatic change to go to 80. If you goodness knows no one really knows what's going to happen to the game. So yeah, hopefully common sense will prevail, and if they want to introduce a cap, then they cap it at something at a sensible cap rate of something like 120, and then we can see what just a minor cap on interchange does to the game, rather than take it to 80. There's not a person in the land knows what's going to happen to the game when that happens, and I reckon that's an enormous risk to take with what's a pretty good game that we've got at the moment. Just on a hunch, we're going to say, oh, let's put the cap at 80 and see what happens to the game. Well, I hope it's good, but what happens if it's no good? So we'll see where it goes.
Has your opinion sort of, I don't know if it's the right word, but worsened, or are you more critical of it now, having lived it and been a guinea pig out there than what you were perhaps leading up to it? Was it worse than what you thought?
Oh, it's always difficult when you've got a cap, because you we want to coach the players in terms of what's happening on the ground, not worrying about counting numbers when who's coming on and who's coming off. I could get a school kid to do that, but the coaches have to do it. It's an enormous constraint in terms of the game. But we in the AFL will hopefully come up with something that's good for the game, and we'll work out that throughout the course of the year. But yeah, we've still got 12 months hopefully.
Just in a practical sense, I mean, you obviously have someone there counting and whatever, but do you, as coach, end up getting sort of sucked into that as well, even though you're not literally the guy counting?
All I know is you're just sitting throughout the course of the week trying to work out preset rotations, and you got subs, and the game. It's the most complex game in the world. It's played over the longest period of time on the biggest oval with the largest amount of participants with an oval ball. It is a bloody tough game, and there's no set plays or stops in the game like gridiron. It's not a coach-driven game, it's a player-driven game. And we're just making it more and more difficult for the players in what is already a very, very complex game. The game is not what it used to be and will never be what it used to be. And we've got to move with the times. We've got a great spectacle of a game, and when we can't allow the players to just play with the freedom because they're constrained because of this interchange, it makes it pretty difficult for them.
Just looking ahead to next week, LSU get a few more back.
Yeah. Well, listen, we've just got to work out over the next few weeks. Birchall and Burgoyne and Hodge, Shields. There's a number of players that'll all come back over the next week or two. Rioli, Piopolo. There's a fair few players that will integrate back into our mix over the next couple of weeks. But we'll just work out how they train and how much game time we can get into those guys prior to the first game of the season.
How have Rioli and Piopolo's injuries settled down over the past week?
Yeah, they're going okay, but they weren't good enough to be able to play tonight, and we'll just wait and see whether that's next week, the week after, or sometimes these lower leg injuries, they settle really quickly. And they've both settled really pleasantly over the course of the week, but whether that plateaus or whether it continues to progress in the manner that we'd like, we'll just have to wait and see. Thanks, guys.